Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, is a condition that can coexist with virtually any other mental health disorder. What makes that tricky is when ADHD is hard to recognize due to the symptoms of the other condition. For example, post traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and ADHD are often comorbid and have a large amount of overlap. Both ADHD and PTSD can trigger one's fight or flight response while causing changes in the functioning of the prefrontal cortex. On top of that, both disorders are frequently misunderstood, even by medical practitioners, and they may also have a genetic link. All of this adds up to a situation that requires more awareness about the relationship between these two disorders. Does PTSD cause ADHD? It very well might. More research must be done, but there is growing evidence that traumatized people are more likely to eventually be diagnosed with ADHD. This is especially true when the trauma happens during childhood. Trauma can rewire a young person's brain in such a way that negatively impacts impulse control and emotional regulation. Conversely, there is no reason as of right now to believe that ADHD leads to PTSD. Now, having said that, someone with ADHD is often more prone to traumatic events and thus to developing PTSD. Once again, this reality highlights the need for more awareness, more research, and more attention from the medical community. What are the differences and what are the similarities between ADHD and PTSD? ADHD is a developmental or neurological disorder. It can be present at birth. Typically, symptoms don't become obvious until early childhood. Physical changes in the brain of someone with ADHD can seriously hamper their day-to-day functioning in areas like interacting with and relating to others, decision making, learning, staying organized, completing work tasks. PTSD is a condition caused by exposure to a traumatic event or to an ongoing series of events or conditions. It also causes changes in one's brain. It keeps a person in high alert and overloaded with a stress hormone called cortisol. A person feels unsafe and therefore distracted from the details of daily life. This is precisely how and where its symptoms overlap with those of ADHD. Let's talk about the shared symptoms. Both PTSD and ADHD can present with signs and symptoms like a high level of distractibility, poor concentration, focus, and memory, impulsivity, inattention, anxiety, depression, sleep disturbances, irritability and restlessness, poor impulse control, a tendency to self-medicate, low self-esteem, being easily startled. Now let's talk about diagnosing and treating both PTSD and ADHD. It may sound obvious, but it bears repeating. It's important to find a health professional with experience working with both populations. Help them take as detailed a history as possible. Sometimes what prevents misdiagnosis is awareness of seemingly small details. If you have one of the two disorders, a skilled therapist can design a treatment plan that targets that condition. If both conditions are present, the client and the therapist will be called on to make certain that all the bases are covered. The treatment for each disorder separately is discrete and nothing can be left to chance. As daunting as that might sound, there are some potentially positive aspects built into the process. When the symptoms of one are reduced, that can serve to soothe the symptom of the other. For example, proper management of ADHD has been shown to decrease sleep disturbances. Since such disturbances are a hallmark of PTSD, the client may experience double the relief. What's the next step? If any of the above information resonates with you, it's important not to try self diagnosing. At the same time, your awareness of your feelings is crucial when it comes to diagnosis and treatment. Your detailed input positions your therapist to make the most accurate possible assessment. I'd love to talk with you more about this, and I invite you to start that conversation by reaching out to me to learn more about trauma therapy and ADHD. If you're looking for more information on both topics, please feel welcome to spend some time with my website. That address is www.michaelgquirke.com.